Good afternoon,
Good
Director.
afternoon.
staff, members of the public. This is a special meeting of the Monterey Peninsula Water Management District to consider adopting a resolution adopting the redistricting proposal that our Redistricting Advisory Commission has recommended to us that we reviewed at our last board meeting. So let's call the roll. Roll call, please.
Director Roberson.
Here.
Director Roberson.
I'm here.
He's here.
Director Anderson.
I'm here.
Director Malik.
Here.
Director Riley.
Here.
Director Edwards.
Here.
Vice Chair Adams.
Here.
Chair Paul.
Here.
All directors are present.
Okay, well, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance next. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which we stand,
one
one
nation,
nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty
and justice
for all.
Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
No, there are not.
Okay, so let's check and see if there's any members of the public that wish to address us at this time.
Chair Paul, there are no members of the public.
Yeah, I don't see any attendees. Okay, then let's move to our business at hand, the redistricting proposal, which we all reviewed recently.
That is correct. We had a preview at our last full board meeting, and there was no direction to make any alterations that evening or subsequent to that meeting. A representative of the demographers is here with us to share a brief PowerPoint and to remind us what we all viewed and what the recommendation from the Redistricting Advisory Committee is. And with that, I will turn it over to Shelley Hickoff.
Welcome, Shelley.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to work with your Redistricting Advisory Commission. They were great. And I'm just going to share my screen for a brief PowerPoint. And so here we are on April 1, the meeting for you to adopt the proposal. And just to remind you, at the last public hearing, we discussed why you needed to redistrict, which is that your districts are uneven in population. We discussed the legal requirements. We talked about the Redistricting Advisory Commission's process that they explored and all the factors they considered. And then we discussed the recommended plan. And some of the features, 3 features of their plan, was that it provided for a strong Latinx and Black district in Seaside. It continued to use a lot of city boundaries, and it, of course, balanced the population. This is an overview map of the districts, and they're color-coded by city. So you can see the cities color shaded. And basically, you see your district is very long. And so just to give you a little better view, we're gonna zoom in to the northern portion, and you can see District 1 in Seaside. This is the strong Latinx district, and it uses city limits here in the north and also the southern end here. And Monterey city limits are used extensively in districts 3 and in 2 here, and between 1 and 2, between 3 and 4. We also maintain the city limits in Carmel by the Sea, because we had to add population to District 4. And so we added unincorporated areas so that we could continue to have Carmel by the Sea just in one district, District 5. So this was a really nice plan. It was unanimously recommended by the RAC, and more importantly, it was developed by them. They made several suggestions, and everyone was really happy with the result. And here are the population statistics. Just in the bottom here, it's a 7.7% deviation. As long as you're under 10% deviation, then you're good to go. That's the total population deviation. And then I'll just show you District 1 in Seaside, 56% Latinx total population, though it reduces to 30% of citizens of voting age. And 31% of the voters have Spanish surnames. So it may not be as strong as one would like, but it definitely concentrated the Latinx community in Seaside. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions or hear any board discussion or listen to you in anything you need to do here.
Thank you. Thank you, Shelley. Any questions or comments from directors? Yes, Amy.
Just a request. I don't know, Shelley, if you have a map that shows, I'm very curious, if what's at the bottom of Division 5? I mean, it goes way down there. Is there any population down there?
I don't have that right now, but there should be some population. Let me go back to that map there that we had. Well, we have Carmel Valley Village.
Way down
Yeah,
there.
so the answer is on the ocean side, on the western end of
Yeah.
5, the answer is yes. And you pick up Hidden Hills and some of the area around the Highlands. But basically beyond the location of Sleepy Hollow subdivision, the rest of that south end is just watershed. There may be a few hermits or campers out there, but no permanent residents.
So we don't go over to the coast, not for the official boundary isn't over to the coast, but certainly
Yeah.
Sleepy Hollow would be.
Yeah, no, you go to the coast.
Too?
Yep. Right.
Oh, just
So it shows down here. that
just
we're-
up at the top. Yeah, I'm curious about way down at the other.
Yeah, way down at the bottom, it's all just like Danish Creek, which is a watershed, and then the upper reaches of the Carmel River itself. It's all just watershed land.
Okay, thank you. I thought
Mhm.
maybe that was true.
I have a question as well.
Please.
So Karen, do you currently represent 4 or 5?
4.
4, okay. Okay, then I'm good. Thank you.
Any question about the small change in boundaries of 4?
So what is it that it's picking up? I'm trying to determine.
So we had to add some population to 4. So it's that Shelley's got her cursor there. You see, it's an unincorporated area
Like
between
Carmel
Carmel by the
Woods?
Sea and Pebble Beach.
Carmel Woods.
Got it. That's what I thought. Yeah,
So part of that was already in 4, and now more of it is in 4.
got it.
And they were able to do it to do it along the lines of the city boundary of Carmel by the Sea.
Perfect.
Yeah, and I think those folks probably identify stronger with Carmel. They drop down the hill and go to Bruno's and what have you, but they're right across Pescadero Canyon from Pebble Beach, so it's still somewhat natural, but we had to do something.
Yeah, it seemed like the best option.
Mhm. Yep,
Um,
good.
Otherwise, you'd have to go into city of Monterey and you wouldn't be able to use the boundaries around between Monterey and Pacific Grove and Pebble Beach. So.
Yeah.
Other questions or comments? Yes, George.
Yeah, I just want to go back to the very early comments about the boundaries of the district. Dave, isn't it true that the boundaries are basically set up on the watershed drainage direction of supporting, I mean, everything that flows into Carmel Creek and everything that flows into the Seaside groundwater basin? Is that kind of?
Yeah, with a couple exceptions, the preserve and oh gosh, well, let's just stick with the preserve for now. There's some properties up that way that are not in the district. And then there are some watershed properties that landowners fought tooth and nail, mostly some cattle ranchers, kind of up in the area of Tularcitos Creek and the Mike Markula Rana Creek property, that they managed to keep themselves out of the district back during the formation in '77. So it's and clearly Rana Creek and Tularcitos Creek do flow into the Carmel. So
Okay, thank you.
I'd like to, could we look at the maps again, please? I'm looking at the city of Monterey getting chopped up a little bit. How does that compare to other cities being bifurcated or in different districts?
yeah, Monterey and Seaside, because of their side, are both bifurcated. An early exchange of population had the city of Monterey trifurcated, which actually, I think it was Commissioner Eisenhart at an initial meeting said, let's try to minimize trifurcation, if you will.
Yeah.
And District 2, voter Division 2 has always been kind of a tough one because it's had pieces of Monterey, part of, almost a third of Seaside, and then Delray Oaks and so forth. So yeah, you are split in two as Monterey. And then there was a little bit of work done down near Sloat to keep some neighborhoods in Monterey together rather than moving one of them into Division 1 and keeping one of them in Division 2. So it's not perfect, but it kind of keeps old Monterey in Division 2.
3.
Yeah, well, it might split. Yeah, it's split. Oh, that you're right. Okay, so the split is right at Aguajito. It looks like coming.
Well, that's Highway 68, which would mean the north of Highway 68 is Pacific Grove and Pebble Beach. So where the word Monterey says, that's downtown. Cannery Row is where you can see.
Yeah, you're right. Yep. And then right under the E in Monterey is Lake Aguajito. So,
hey, if we
Lake El Estero rather. So yeah.
Hey, if we quadfurcate, we went from bifurcate to trifurcate to quadfurcate. We could have 4 votes in the city of Monterey and take over the water district. All right.
Wouldn't be the first attempt.
Another way of thinking about it is District 3 is completely Monterey. So Monterey is at least one district plus all this other district in terms of population.
District 3 of Highway 68 is the gray line. That's Pebble Beach and Pacific Grove. Off to the north.
Well, this all here in tan is, or yellow, whatever, is Monterey. This is the city limits of Monterey.
Yeah, where she's got the cursor down there, that's 68. That's the Holman Highway.
Okay,
it's
that's
in
where
Pebble Beach, more like over here.
Mr. Mayor, Highway 1 and Highway 68 are overlap, and so it's
there you go,
double branded during that period, during that portion.
Yeah, 68 takes that right turn.
Yeah,
to
got
the-
it now.
to the
Yeah, I can see,
northwest. Yeah.
I see Cannery Row, New Monterey, et cetera now. Thank you. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You must have very good eyes.
I had a question of the demographer.
Mhm.
On your chart, near the end of your presentation, the chart of numbers. I'm just curious about actual voters. Yes, the actual voters on the right. How is that just a total from a particular year, a particular election, or an average? How does that number?
No, it's from the 2020 general election, the presidential election. So these were the registered voters as of that election and the actual voters who voted in the presidential election,
2020 November.
2020,
2020 November. Okay, thank you.
November of 2020.
Keeping in mind that the criterion though is population.
I understand, and I was just curious about just the total population in the various districts, and that's what your target the balancing act was all about.
Right.
And I was just looking at the actual voters in the separate districts. I was just looking and making so we range from 38% of actual voters in District 1 up to over 70% in District 5. I mean, it's a pretty wide range. I understand that it's not organized that way. It's just interesting data for me. I mean, I just look at that. Thank you.
Yes, I agree. It's very striking, the voter turnout disparities in the wealthier area, overall wealthier areas. It's much higher, not surprising, but it's a very striking.
And just as
Some
another
of that,
well,
is, are you talking about the registered voters or the turnout of registered voters? Because
Lot of-
registered voters depend on citizenship rates.
Right, I realize that.
Right.
Actual voters, I think that's,
But actual voters, what you might compare is the turnout rate of actual voters to registered voters. If that's what you're referring to. But yeah, these are going to be uneven, the registered voters, just a large part because of citizenship rate.
well, the actual voters, aren't those the percentage of registered voters?
So actual voters, they're going to be some percentage, like 8,184 in District 1. Actual voters when there were 10,408 registered voters. So something like 80%. I mean, I haven't done the math, but it looks like that voted. And a higher percentage voted from District 5. Not that much higher. I mean, it was still pretty high.
Yeah, and 4, right?
Yeah, 13,509 compared to 15,112. So one could look and see the percentages, but it's a very intense election, so most people voted.
Yeah. Other questions or comments about?
Well, I listened to 2 of the 3, the redistricting commission meetings, and I was very impressed because I thought the individuals who participated argued pretty accurately. I think not just theoretically, but with data about different types of populations in different parts of our community. And the neighborhoods, when it got down to redrawing some lines, they knew those neighborhoods. And so there was nothing theoretical about that interaction. It was just very interesting. And I was very impressed that it was a huge knowledge base that came together on that commission. And I was pleased with that and impressed.
I was too. And they also asked for good information from the demographers who were able to provide it in real time. So it was information coming from the commissioners and from the demographers, on income level and percent of renters, and of course the ethnic composition of the neighborhoods, all of that. So.
Well, and the last thing I would add is that there was discussion of renters, and renters became a new kind of discussion point in a lot of the redistricting efforts around the county. And I know it was discussed and I know it was entertained as criteria, even though we don't have this data in front of us. But I think they were able to kind of keep some of the neighborhoods together because there was a renters pattern of those neighborhoods. And I thought the commission did a good job trying to get those kind of that thought process incorporated into the analysis.
Mhm. Yeah, I agree. Anyone else? Well, I think they came up with a great proposal. I think they considered all the important things. I'm just as impressed as you, George, with the whole process, the demographers and the commissioners and our staff running the show as well. I've read the resolution. It looks fine to me. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve the resolution?
I do.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you. There's no members of the, I'll check again, but I didn't see any members. No, there are no members of the public. So if there's no further discussion, we can vote.
Just on the second right there, Chair, I want to thank the staff and our demographers for the good work and those commissioners for the good work they've done on this. I attended all three meetings. All three meetings was very, very good. They took action. They made decisions and the decisions were brought back to them. But I want to thank them all once again, especially Joel and for all the work he put in this. Make sure everybody get notified and everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Well-deserved thanks and praise. Okay, let's have a roll call vote.
Director Edwards,
Yes.
Director Riley,
Aye.
Director Malik,
Yes.
Director Anderson,
Yes.
Director Roberson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Adams,
Aye.
Chair Paul.
Yes,
The motion passes on a vote of 7-0.
Well,
so,
thank you, everybody.
yes, thank you all so much. And this is a good, very good outcome. I just have a couple of quick questions about the follow-up process. Now, we send this to the county elector. It's not the right term, is it? But
Register of
Register.
voters.
registrar of voters, thank you. And the resolution enables them to make minor changes. And then I presume they will inform us of those changes. And then and then we do a final map.
No, usually these changes are things like a freeway ramp might be in the wrong, something like that might be adjusted, things that don't have any population.
Uh-huh.
So I don't think you need to approve them. I mean, the point of the resolution is so that they have the freedom to make these changes. Gina Martinez, who's the Register of Voters, explained to us that like little things like a freeway ramp can cause them to have to create ballots that no one is going to use, but have to be available. And then it's just inefficient of their time, and then costs the district money as well. So it's small, minor things that sometimes we have to go on census blocks. That's the geography that is in our software. And the Register of Voters uses parcel-based, individual houses, parcels. And so they have to make some adjustments. So it's about really changing from census block geography to parcel-based geography.
Okay, so once those changes are made, how do we get the final map? The final adjusted map?
So for example, on your maps, some of them we showed the official boundary and sometimes we showed the census block boundary. I don't know if you were aware of that, but some of the maps show a little
Yes,
line
yes.
that shows that. So
Yes.
they're going to use the official outer boundaries. We can't simulate that perfectly with the census blocks. So they'll have a shape, what's called a GIS shapefile, a software shapefile of your actual map. So if the staff needs something like that, they will have that computer file for you.
Okay. So
So not
we-
sure if that's what you're asking, but
Well, I'm thinking that when it's finalized, we would probably want to put it up on our website. And some people probably want to look at a fairly detailed version of it. You know, they may have questions about which district am I in, which district is someone else in, and so be able to see the street. So would that be possible?
yeah, we supply, if you were a little behind because we had to scrunch, there wasn't a lot of time to do the redistricting this time, so we're a little behind on getting final maps to clients, but in a couple of weeks, we'll get your staff detailed maps and like one map per district. So you can really see what the boundaries look like so that you can post them on your website.
Very good. Perfect. Okay, those are my questions. Any others? Well, we can adjourn then. And thanks again to everyone.
Thank you.
And good
Thank
job.
Good.
Thank you.
All-
Thank you, Ken.
Great job.
Have
Hey,
a nice
George.
week.
Hey, George, I
Great
thought the
weekend.
Democratic Party in Washington was having parties.
Recording stopped.
George, I thought the Democratic Party